Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at a really fresh perspective on getting to grips with instrument flight rules.
Yeah, mastering those IFR concepts.
Exactly. We're getting into this quite unique piece. It's called Why I Fell in Love with IFR. And it's not your standard textbook approach at all. It's more of a personal journey, actually.
Right, written by a PPLA holder, that's private pilot license for airplanes, who was looking at the ESA basic instrument rating.
Yeah, Europe's sort of specific rating for private pilots. And the perspective, I think you'll find it really insightful. Okay, let's unpack this.
What's fascinating here, I think, is how it frames IFR readiness. It's not just about cramming facts for the test, right?
No, not at all.
It's presented more as this deep process of really, truly internalizing the knowledge.
Internalizing, yeah.
So this deep dive will really focus on the philosophy, you could say, and the method behind learning effectively in aviation, which, as you know, is just crucial for competence when you're actually up there in the soup.
I get that.
Yeah.
The author, they mentioned being an engineer and also a teacher sort of by instinct. And they say flying, for them, it's all about clarity.
Yeah.
Not just seeing outside, but, mental clarity.
That makes sense.
They're a private pilot, got their VFR night, ICAO English, wasn't aiming for the airlines or anything.
Wanted to understand IFR better.
Exactly. Wanted to make those tricky IFR topics feel accessible. So how did they use these advanced AI tools to get that clarity? What did that actually look like?
Well, that's a great question. The author describes it less like they wrote a book and more like they meticulously compiled it.
Compiled?
Yeah, painstakingly, iteratively. They used advanced AI tools, but not just for basic questions. It was more about actively scanning, analyzing, pulling together information from countless sources, regs, pilot forums, you name it.
Wow.
So it wasn't passive reading. It was really an active construction of their own understanding, building it for themselves first.
You're right.
Reviewing, rewriting, restructuring it again and again, like dozens of times. If something wasn't clear or felt too academic, they'd go back to the AI and say, okay, break this down differently, reframe it, give me a metaphor, whatever it took until it finally clicked.
That makes so much sense because for us pilots, that click is everything, isn't it? It's not just about passing the exam.
Absolutely.
It's about making sure it clicks when you're actually in the cockpit.
Yeah.
Can you give an example? Like, how did this method with the AI help with something notoriously difficult, maybe holding patterns?
Oh, holding patterns are a perfect example. So many pilots just try to force memorize the entries, right? Teardrop, parallel, direct.
Guilty as charged.
Well, this author's approach was different. They used the AI to generate really vivid, memorable analogies.
Okay.
Like what? For instance, reframing holding pattern entries not as this abstract geometry problem, but more like a structured dance routine or like navigating a very specific traffic circle.
A dance routine for a holding pattern.
Yeah.
I like that. That's definitely more engaging than a diagram.
It is. And the AI helped visualize the wind correction, the timing, the procedures, making them feel more like intuitive movements rather than just rigid steps to follow.
Okay, so what does that actually mean in the cockpit if you're flying, say, a Cessna on instruments?
Well, what this means in the cockpit is instead of frantically trying to recall some diagram you memorized,
Which never quite works under pressure.
exactly, you have a more intuitive mental model. For a GA pilot in a Cessna, thinking of it as a dance routine means you're not just chasing needles.
You're anticipating.
You're anticipating the next turn, you understand how the wind's pushing you, you make smoother, proactive corrections.
So how to remember this for the test and for flying?
Think less memorize the picture and more feel the flow. Examiners, they expect you to know the rules, the entry types. But what actually matters in flight is executing that hold safely and efficiently, often with real wind, maybe some turbulence, other planes around. This method builds that deeper, more adaptable kind of understanding.
It kind of flags the super academic stuff that doesn't help much in practice.
Precisely. It zeroes in on the practical operational knowledge you really need.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Maybe someone tackling their ESA basic instrument rating right now?
Yeah.
It means thinking about IFR learning as, well, a personal quest. A quest for clarity and a real understanding.
Using whatever tools help, like AI in this case.
Right. It can genuinely transform these complex topics into something you feel you own. The value is in creating your own sort of personal logbook of learning.
Knowledge that truly clicks for you.
And sticks with you.
Which raises an important question, doesn't it? How can you apply this kind of innovative approach to your own BIR journey? You need to consider how you can find the resources, the methods that help you personally grasp what's happening in the skies above the clouds. For practical flying,
Not just to tick the boxes on the test.
exactly. It's about building that intuitive knowledge you need when you're the one flying the plane, not just what's written on the syllabus page. Something to mull over.